we're gonna cover 4 key exercises that are gonna help you understand core base training for sprinting, and we're gonna start right now. What's up, everybody? It's Dave Miller from GarageStrength.com, and if this is your first time to the channel and you're interested in getting faster, you want to be more explosive, you want to take those weight room gains, put it out onto the track, make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you ring that notification bell so we can help you run faster. So some of the key concepts behind understanding core training for sprinting, or even trunk training for sprinting, and I think that right off the bat's got to be a key concept you've got to understand. If we're talking about our core right here, we're also going to be talking about our entire trunk and dynamic trunk control. But one of the most important things to do is to understand where these specific exercises will impact. You've got your start, then you're going to have your acceleration phase or your drive phase, and then you're going to have your maximal mechanics. And this exercise right here is going to be pretty complicated. So we're going to do a single leg RDL with the band attached behind us. And then as we come through, we're gonna come through rapidly and hold overhead. And what I like to see is a little bit of a hip lock right here on the right side. I wanna see those hands overhead, and I wanna see good dynamic trunk control all throughout your gut. And so you're gonna come back again, and ideally you'll come up nice and quick. We wanna see good hip flexion, knee flexion, dorsiflexion here. And so where is this going to transfer over to? If we can think about sprinting at that top end speed, this is going to help your front side mechanics. It's going to help us when we're in maximal speed, okay? So think about once we get to 40, 50, 60 meters, now we can understand that foot's directly below us, our ground reaction forces are nice and strong, and we're gonna be holding a good upright posture, and that's gonna carry over really, really well to maintaining that speed over a longer period of time and slowing down the slowest, and that's gonna lead to a bigger and faster 100 meters or 200 meter sprint. So that next key exercise for core base sprint training is going to be the barbell bicycle crunches. And this is an exercise that I think carries over really well through the drive phase, and then from that drive phase into that transition into maximal mechanics. But what we want to focus on is a little bit of trunk flexion and a rapid hip flexion where we get up on our butt. A lot of athletes, a lot of sprinters early on when they do this movement, they're going to stay on their lumbar spine, on their lower back, right? And you want to try and get more up onto your glutes. That's going to really light up your gut, and it's going to teach your trunk how to coordinate with your hips. That's a really key component when we're talking about top end speed, even when we're talking about the drive phase. If we can train our abs to fire in coordination with our hips, now we're going to stay a little bit healthier, and we're going to be able to control that trunk at faster rates of motion. So what we want to do here, I like to do this for anywhere from 3 to 4 sets at 8 to 12 reps each side, but we want to hold this almost like it's directly over your face, okay? So you're here, come up, back down. And when you come back down, try to prevent, a good cue, prevent your shoulder blades from touching the ground. So we're boom, 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 and keep that barbell directly over the face. A lot of people want to push that forward. They want to try and move it back, but keep it almost directly over your chin so you're here. Oh yeah. You can do that, once or twice a week. Do that at the end of your sprint-based training. You can do that in the weight room on a heavy leg day. That's going to help coordinate the trunk with your hips. Okay, so another phenomenal ab exercise that I love to utilize with sprinters, with football players, with anybody who's working on that sprint speed is, sorry, it's a little egotistical, but I call it Dane's fast abs. So what this movement is, it's all about force absorption. And a lot of athletes lose energy because they don't know how to absorb force in their trunk. And so we use a little bit of a decline bench here, nothing too severe, but what we want to see when we get placed is we want to hold that dorsiflexion in our ankles, okay, right here. And then we want to have that knee flexion and that hip flexion here, but we're going to come back and we're going to have just slight hip flexion, and we don't want to go all the way down. We want to almost create this level plane. And the whole purpose here is we're gonna focus on 3 angles that we're coming at the abs. When we come at the trunk from 3 different angles, we can train the body how to absorb force on all those different angles. And it's all about speed. When we're hitting here, what we're gonna be focused on is not these little tiny things like this. We're gonna be focused on, boom, real quick. So we're almost pulling down as rapidly as possible and then squeezing throughout our trunk to hold that. And this is where some of the hollow positions will really start to pay off, and then we can get into rotational work. And what ends up happening is that when you can train from those side angles, now you're gonna strengthen your trunk to be able to absorb force and control force. So if we're sprinting at top end speed, or we're driving through the drive phase and we're accelerating very rapidly, we don't wanna lose energy all over the place. If we can train our body and our trunk to fire effectively and control that energy, now we're gonna stay in a more linear path and we're going to run faster. So I recommend doing Dane's Fast Abs once a week, 4 sets, a 7 on each side. And then we'll finish here. Okay, 7 forward, 7 on the side, 7 on this side, and you're gonna feel that big time the next day. So my favorite core exercise for sprinting is complicated. I like to do a lot of supersets, okay? And I like to pre-fatigue my athletes in certain areas. So we're gonna do a dumbbell side bend. I know this is a kettlebell, but think about if we have a dumbbell or kettlebell, we're gonna have one arm here, and we're gonna get this little load, just nice and easy, okay? 15 to 17 reps on each side. So we'll go 15 there, 15 on this side, and we wanna feel our obliques, even a little bit of our glute med pushing through that heel. Try and pre-fatigue, okay? So we're gonna do that, then we're gonna rest about 30 to 60 seconds, and I'm gonna show you how I like to do this. This is a complicated movement. If you've never done this, I call these Camaro Lunges. If you've never done this, start with dumbbells. Make it easy, build up, make it a progression, okay? This is a very advanced movement. You don't have to do this right off the bat. You can do it with dumbbells and you'll see what's gonna happen. But I like to hook this up and get a little bit of a swing from those kettlebells. And so, we're gonna hold here, okay? We're gonna hook this up. We got an earthquake bar here. And again, it doesn't need to be super fancy. You could do this with a 5 kilo bar. You could do this with a 10 kilo bar. You could do this with 10-pound plates. But after we do those dumbbell side bends, what I like to see is we're gonna take this off and immediately you're gonna start to feel a little shaky. And I wanna see this Camaro Lunge. So the Camaro Lunge is gonna be, we're gonna take a nice little step, boom, and we're gonna hold. So we're gonna try and squeeze. I gotta make sure I'm not hitting that barbell. I'm gonna go here, boom, and I wanna squeeze in my trunk. The whole goal here, remember, it's core training. So I don't need to get super, super deep. I wanna get to that point, boom, where I'm feeling it sort of oscillate and pull me all over the place, and I'm feeling that stimulation from the dumbbell side bend. So we're gonna go one more, boom. And I like that rapid drop. Now I'm in this position, we're gonna hold this, and that's gonna be the end of the set. So I like to do 3 to 4 sets, and the big goal is make sure it doesn't need to be crazy heavy. You could do that with 10 pounders on a 5 or 10K bar, and when you step, it's a fast drop. Feel the pre-fatigue from those dumbbell side bends. That's gonna help you have dynamic trunk control when you're at top end speed. So utilize these exercises to help improve your front side mechanics, improve your drive phase, improve those maximum mechanics so that you can hold more upright posture when you're running at top end speed. Make sure that you're communicating with your sprint coach, or make sure that you recognize how you feel while you're doing these movements so it can transfer better over to the track. If you want help with your speed-based training, you can click on the link down below and pick up our How to Get Faster speed-based program. This is designed for football players, but it is also tremendously effective for sprint-based training. If you want more content around sprint-based training, click on this card right here. Until next time, guys, peace.